Hey friends, how's it going? It's Erin with What a Witch Knows. I'm here today to do an intuitive flower reading for you guys for the full flower moon in Scorpio, which is happening May 12th on Monday around 12:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the full flower moon is happening in Scorpio, so that's the sign of life, death, and rebirth. And the moon is going to be across the zodiac wheel from the sun in Taurus, which is our real world. It's where things ground into reality. And it's also right next door to Uranus, which is the planet of unexpected change and shakeups. So that means we could see a lot happening in our lives when it comes to, changes that relate to our reality, our day-to-day lives, and especially changes that can be unexpected. But my sense actually with this new moon is that these changes have been sort of boiling under the surface for quite some time because of the Scorpio energy. And now that pot is sort of getting ready to boil over. So we're going to start to see those, actual signs come into our real world. But maybe we've known for a while what these changes are and sort of why they need to happen, even though we may or may not be that comfortable with them, right? Depending on what your astrological chart looks like, because some people are really more comfortable with stability and they're a little bit afraid of change. So if you guys have never done or seen an intuitive flower reading, they're really just, that is intuition, right? So you use your intuition to tap into the energy of the flower. You use all your five senses and you really just tap in to see what your intuition is telling you. So Venusian Light Tarot, I will tag her down in the comments below. She's awesome. She gave me the inspiration to do the flower readings. I've seen her do these types of readings for quite some time, and I thought the full flower moon would be an awesome time to try one for myself. It's my first time doing it, so you guys will go along on the ride with me. Okay, so let's see. Spirit, please tap me into the energy of this beautiful pink carnation flower. I'll show it to you guys. Please tap me into the energy of the full flower moon in Scorpio. Please also tap me into the energy that's opposing in Taurus and the conjuncting energy with Uranus. Let me know what's going on with the collective, what everybody needs to know about the changes that are coming up in their lives. Okay, so the first thing that I'm seeing, it's sort of what I was saying before, is that these changes are probably going to be pretty deep-seated. So changes that have been coming up, from very far below the surface, kind of the way a volcano erupts with lava. That lava has been, I'm not sure what the word is, but, it's been circulating. It's been getting ready to come up to the surface for quite some time before it actually shows on the surface. So that's kind of the image I'm getting from just looking at this flower, that these changes, they're not just little changes. They're really large changes, and they're changes that are very deep-seated, that have been making their way up to our reality from the underworld or from the subconscious, however you want to look at that, for quite some time. Okay, Spirit, is there anything else we need to know? What kind of changes are these that are coming up from underneath the surface into our real world? What do we need to know? Okay, so I'm actually getting that they're very positive changes, that these changes for many, even though that they will be maybe a little bit dramatic. So for example, these aren't changes like, I'm changing the color of my shirt or something. This is like, I'm, moving across the country, or these are changes like, I'm having a baby, or these are changes like I'm starting a new relationship, or these are changes like, I'm starting a brand new track of my education. I'm going back to school. I'm going to get a new degree. So all of these are the types of changes that are, they're happy changes, but they're changes that can come with, again, like I said before, depending on how you deal with change, they can be a little bit scary and they can be a little bit overwhelming. So what I would recommend for you guys with these types of changes is to just, like with what I always recommend to you guys, is to just tap into your intuition. Drop into your body consciousness, drop into your heart, and see how they feel to you. Do they feel right? Do they feel aligned with your path? just because something is scary or you're overwhelmed by it or you're stressed out by it because of all the changes that it's going to, make, necessary in your life, doesn't mean that it's not an amazing, like awesome, potentially life-changing thing to happen to you. So, if it feels aligned to you, let spirit guide you on this new journey. Just relax, just surrender, and sort of go with that really beautiful, intuitive flow. We still have the North Node in Pisces. Actually, it's going to be there for a while longer, but we also have Saturn still in Pisces for a little while longer before it goes into Aries. And Saturn is our teacher, and Pisces is our intuition. So we're still learning. We're still learning how to tap into our intuition. We're still learning how to go with the flow. These are new energies. It's not easy. Like, they're in us. Like, they're inherent. We all have it. We all have that connection to spirit. But they're not valued in our society. They're not taught in our society. We have to go out of our way to tap into spirit and learn how to do that on our own. Whether that's just like watching videos like this on YouTube or reading books. Nobody's teaching this to you in school. But if you're open to it, you can use that energy of Saturn and Pisces to say, hey, spirit, I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to learn how to exist in this new reality where the mind isn't in charge anymore. The heart and the intuition is in charge. Okay, so let's see. I'm like wanting to like spin this. It might be chaotic. I'm getting like a chaos energy. Like, it's, how sometimes when things come into your life, that, it's a big change, but now it's like all of these tiny little changes have to happen to like, so if I'm going back to school, it's like, oh, okay, well then how am I now going to pay for it? And like, maybe I need to move, and what else am I going to do for money? Do I need to get a part-time job now instead of my full-time job? All sorts of, what about my kids? Like, how are they going to, get into my new routine? How are they going to be like nurtured? And how am I going to like, make sure that my routine that's new aligns with my kids' new routine, or routine as it exists now. So there's just going to be a lot that you're going to have to deal with. But again, like, I'm just encouraging everybody to breathe and just go with that flow, go with that beautiful Pisces flow, because I'm telling you, this feels good. Like, the energy feels positive. It feels transformational. It feels like something that we've been waiting for a long time. And sometimes these are things that you've been dreaming for and praying for a long time, guys. These aren't like, you think of like a tower moment where it's something horrible and awful. Like, change doesn't have to be horrible and awful. If you're a Virgo, like, maybe, I get it. Like, I'm not a Virgo, but I have like so many good friends who are Virgos, and change can be really tough for Virgos and other people, or like, people with fixed sign energy, for example, in their charts. I am a Taurus, or a Taurus rising, so that's a fixed sign, and Tauruses have, a lot of trouble with change sometimes. Luckily, I have, some other energies in my chart to balance that out. But if you're one of those people who really prefer stability, this is the time to really get used to how do you find that stability in yourself, because the world is changing in a big way, and that stability is going to have to come from inside ourselves, because it's just not coming from the outside anymore, unfortunately. But that's good and bad, right? Because that means even though what we've been used to is crumbling, it also means that what we're not used to can now manifest into reality, right? So guys, I hope this reading helped you. This was a new experience for me. So I'm trying to like, embody that energy too. For example, just with this reading, like, I've never done an intuitive flower reading before. It was a really interesting experience. And I was just kind of going with the flow, and that's what I really encourage all of you guys to do as well. So thank you for, going on that journey with me. I appreciate it. Okay, guys, I hope that helps. Take care. Bye.